to open with the benediction or invocation, and I want my pastor, Stephen Helfrich, to come. He's the pastor of the Bridge Church, which you may have heard about. It's a new church in Alton on 12th Street. And so, Stephen, if you will, come and lead us in invocation.
All right, please join me in prayer. Heavenly Father, you are the giver of every good and perfect gift. And tonight, we want to acknowledge you and thank you for the good gift of what you have done these past 10 years at Alton Steel. We thank you for the men and women who had the vision, determination, and perseverance to see Alton Steel emerge from the ashes. We thank you for the way in which you brought together a team of people from this community to unite under this vision. We know that you are a God who does abundantly more than all we could ever ask or imagine. And we thank you for doing this for Alton Steel. We pray that tonight your blessings may be upon each worker, each family, and each partner at Alton Steel. We look back and celebrate what has happened the past 10 years, and we look to you for greater things to come in the future. God, may you bless each person here. God, may you bless Alton, Illinois. God, may you bless Alton Steel, and may you bless the United States of America. It's in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Okay, two things left for me to do tonight. So one is to say thank you to a bunch of folks, and I'm going to miss a bunch of people. I wrote it down so I wouldn't miss anyone, and I know I wrote it down, still going to miss. I'm looking at people now that I realize aren't on my list. So let me just start with an apology. I'm sorry if your name's not mentioned, but if you had anything to do with the Alton Steel success story or helping with the production of this thing, thank you. So here's my list that I made. Mayor Brant Walker, start with the mayor. Thank you for all your help. Chief Jake Simmons, and if we could, we'll hold our applause to the end. Chief Jake Simmons of the Alton City Police. Chief Bernie Siebold in the Alton Fire Department, Rhonda Lewis and Alton Parks. And I thought when I heard Rhonda Lewis, I thought this is awesome because I know it'll be successful if she's anything like Roger Lewis, who works for me. So Roger, thank you. Leslie Camp, who helped with all the Alton Steel stuff, thank you. John Courtney, Tony Vorman from Triple Jam Productions, they helped put all these lights up and all that. Mel Cook is here tonight, the first CEO from Alton Steel. Mike Cook, my buddy. Charlie Lindemeyer, Alton Steel's current CEO. Dr. Glenn Bouchard, the president of SIU Systems. Julie First-Bovey is here tonight. Thank you for coming out. She's the chancellor of SIUE. Senator Bill Hayne, all the elected officials in attendance. Professor Rick Hayden and the SIUE Jazz Quartet. Janine Kelly, Dennis Campbell, Ray Stillwell, and Joanne Smith, all of whom were part of the original investor group. The Bridge Church for the invocation and a lot of volunteer work around here today and yesterday. Brett Stawer and the Alton Visitor Center for fielding a zillion calls for this party. Dale Stewart and the Southwest Illinois Building and Construction Trades. My good friend Dean Webb, the Madison County Federation of Labor. And for all those gathered here tonight, but we're especially here for the Alton Steel employees and our customers that were here tonight. So thank you all. So my final job is to introduce our MC for tonight. He's legendary sportscaster and current play-by-play commentator for the Tampa Bay Rays, Dwayne Stats. Dwayne is a Riverbend native. He grew up in East Alton, Illinois, listening to Harry Carey and Jack Buck call the St. Louis Cardinals on KMOX. Yes, Harry Carey used to broadcast for the St. Louis Cardinals, for those of you that don't know that. He graduated from SIUE, my alma mater, and he's been announcing professional baseball since 1973. He has a broadcast resume that's second to none. He's worked for the Houston Astros, Chicago Cubs, New York Yankees, and ESPN. In 2006, he celebrated his 30th season as a Major League Baseball announcer. That same year, Dwayne was introduced into the SIUE Alumni Hall of Fame. He's an old friend, and I'm glad he's here. Please join me in welcoming back to the River Bend our MC for tonight, Dwayne Stantz.
John, thank you so much. It's great to be here. Let's get one order of business out of the way right now. And he would not ask me to do this. He would not want me to do this. In fact, he may disown me after I do this. There's one reason we're here tonight, and his name is John Simmons. John? This is a very special event, the 10th anniversary of the miraculous story that is Alton Steel. And it's my privilege to be here to serve as the Master of Ceremonies. Like many of us here today, this celebration is personal to me. My father, Perry Stantz, worked for LaClede Steel, as did my maternal grandfather. Our family knew firsthand the financial impact of the steel mill and how important it was to this community. So we're here to take part in a celebration. We're going to celebrate the story, we're going to celebrate it in music, and we're going to celebrate it in fireworks. When the mill closed in 2001, our first speaker tonight knew all too well how important an entity it was for this area. A dream seemingly impossible at the time was born with this gentleman. Ladies and gentlemen, he was the driving force behind saving and reviving the steel mill at Alton. My pleasure to introduce to you Mel Cook. Mel?
Thank you. All I can say is to God be the glory. We developed a culture early on in our effort with the community, with the employees that volunteered their time, with the business folks around town, with the agencies of the state. And we did that on a sense of fairness. We felt that if you're fair with me and I'm fair with you, we can do whatever we set out to do. And it worked. We have a great feeling tonight for all of you folks who have come out to celebrate with us this 10th anniversary. For us, it's a 12th anniversary because we worked 2 years before that first date and worked quite hard. They were very enjoyable because of the culture that I mentioned earlier, and the people who came and volunteered and worked hard, diligently, and showed their faith in the project. I just want to say thank you for caring, for sharing, and for allowing us to be a part of it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mel. Next up on our program, a familiar name and face to all of us. He served the 56th Illinois Legislative District since 2002. As we've come to find out, a friend of taxpayers and economic development alike, Illinois State Senator Bill Hayne. Bill?
I'm honored to be here. I was here 10 years ago, with John Simmons, Mel, Charlie, the steelworkers, all put it on the line. They said we were gonna, as the pastor said, we're gonna be like the phoenix that rose from the ashes of defeat. We're gonna make steel in Alton once again. Ladies and gentlemen, it ought to be a message heard round the country. And we ought to reverse our ill-advised trade policies. We should manufacture things again in the United States. Our enemies, the tyrants who attack us, always underestimate America. Adolf Hitler once said, "We don't care about America. All they can make is razor blades." Yeah, right. Look at the German cities after World War II. Did we drop razor blades on them? I don't think so. The World Trade Center, ironically, was constructed from steel made at LaClede Steel. And we're never going to forget that act as long as America lives. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm a child of the 1950s, as I said 10 years ago. My grandfather was a glass blower. We worked in the glass works. I worked there. My brothers worked there. You could walk out of here in 1962, 63, 64. You had steel, glass, the box board, the refineries, all up and down Broadway, on into East Alton and Wood River, all the way down to Hartford with the tannery. We made things. We made things. We want to make things again in America. We need the government to establish policies to encourage our workers to make things and ship them overseas rather than shipping our jobs overseas and shipping their goods here. That's what we need. I want to conclude with this. If you can picture the 1950s, the lights on Broadway, the lights in downtown Wood River, that was the 50s. The 50s were something else, as I said 10 years ago. The 50s, you had an icon. I grew up watching it, a man who stood for law and order and justice and fair play. The Lone Ranger, remember? They botched the movie, but the figure, the icon still exists, a symbol of the American West. Well, let's return with us now to those yesteryears. Let's make steel in America. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. To make this miracle come true required a number of elements. One very important element among those is a strong labor force. Number two is solid ownership. And certainly, third, among a myriad of elements, would be an experienced and expert executive presence. Together, they've all made this day possible. It's my pleasure to bring to the podium the President and CEO of Alton Steel, Charlie Lennemeyer. Charlie?
Thank you. I didn't know we had this many employees down there. I thought we only had 300, but it looks like we may have increased that. 10 years. Hard to believe we've been in business for 10 years. A lot of you have already heard me say that when I first met with Mel and Mike Cook, I found out that they were going to succeed. They were going to take a steel mill that I had worked for 28 years and left 5 years before before we actually started up, and make it work. I was a doubter. I didn't think that it could happen. I went to work for several other steel mills in between and had my own business prior to coming to work for Mel. But once I met him and I saw the vision that they were putting in place, I thought, you know what, this is going to work. And this is going to be fun. I had worked for several steel mills also that had done the opposite. They'd gone out of business. Not because of me, I don't think. At least I might have been accused of that, but it really wasn't me. But they had a vision, and that vision worked. 10 years ago, it was actually October 13th, 2003. We had a grand opening. And there's so many similarities to that day 10 years ago than the day today. The weather was almost identical. We had a great day during the day, but we had the Oak Ridge boys 10 years ago. But they worked the steel mill, and they said it was the first time that they had ever played the steel mill. It's probably the last time also. But we had such a crowd tonight, we wanted it down here. John Simmons said we want to make this the biggest event that Alton has seen, and I think we're going to do that. The weather was the same. We had a great day. We actually took customers down to the football game after the Oak Ridge boys played, saw the Rams play the Atlanta Falcons. It was such an exciting game, I don't even remember it. But they did, and we made it back. On the way back, it started to rain. As I understand it, it's supposed to rain tonight sometime after midnight. We have scheduled tomorrow morning with our customers a golf outing. We had a golf outing 10 years ago scheduled. I didn't think we were going to get it in because of the rain, but it stopped raining. And I think the Lord had something to do with that, because He has certainly had everything to do with us succeeding. I truly believe that. Also thinking about today, I think you all know what day it is. It's Columbus Day. And what do? We celebrate Columbus, this individual who took off on a ship on an adventure. I'm not sure where he was going, but he knew he was going to succeed. And I see Alton Steel the same way. 10 years ago, we started off opening an old steel mill, just wondering if it was going to succeed and that if we were going to find our way in this journey. And by gosh, we have. So a lot of you heard me talk today at the luncheon for customers, so I'm not going to go through that speech again. But I am going to talk to you, it's a little bit different, about things that make Alton Steel different from our competition. My wife said it's kind of like a top 10 list, but I've actually got 11 things here, honey. Number one, we're operating a steel mill that's over 40 years of age, and we're operating it successfully. Our competition, most of our competition have brand new steel mills, or they're putting in brand new steel mills now. But we have to compete with that, and we're doing it. Alton Steel has the largest electric arc furnace in the SBQ business. We have a 200-ton electric arc furnace. We make a lot of steel in about an hour and a half. We're the only SBQ producer that has a bar mill that actually repeats. We make that work. We make a quality product off of that. Nobody else has one of those. Nobody else has put one in since then. We have the most, and I'm being nice here, mature workforce in the industry. When we first started out, I think our average age was well over 50. We've got it all the way down to the lower 50s now by adding some folks. So we're still probably the most mature workforce. For those of you who don't know what the Jacobson survey is, it's a survey that is done in the steel industry by category, product category. Steel mills are rated, I hope I never lose that, by what they produce. And we're in the SBQ category. So this survey judges us with our competition, with our competitors out there. We're the only steel mill to achieve in this survey the #1 rating in customer loyalty for several years, not just 1 year, but at least 2 years and beyond. And that's only because of what our employees are able to do out there. And we're competing with all these people who have much more expensive steel mills than we do. We're the only steel mill to successfully bring back a shuttered steel mill and keep it going for 10 years, successfully keep it going for 10 years. Others have tried it. It's lasted maybe 3 years at the most, and then they went back out of business. We've successfully kept ours running. We are the only steel mill featured on Dirty Jobs with Mr. Mike Rowe. If you haven't seen it, you can still see it. on YouTube, so it's a great. But along with that, we're the only steel mill that has a star of dirty jobs, and that's Mr. Mike Shane right there. People have come to him and tried to get him under contract, and we won't let him. We're the only steel mill who 10 years ago had the Oak Ridge Boys perform at our grand opening, or at any grand opening. We're the only steel mill who 10 years later had the Oak Ridge Boys again. They actually came back. They were excited about it. But as I mentioned, we're the only steel mill to be successful. And we're successful because we have the strongest and most customer-concerned workforce in the steel industry. None are better. And I give thanks to all of them. I give thanks to their family for their support. I give thanks to you, our customers, this community that has assisted us and helped us. And again, I thank God for His guidance and His protection on our journey to success. Thank you for coming tonight. Thank you for cheering us on for another 10 years, and we'll see you 10 years from now. Thank you.
Thank you, Charlie, and congratulations on such great work. So many associated with this project began either on a family farm or in a small town. Our next speaker grew up on a family farm and went on to spend over 40 years in public service as an Illinois state senator, as a U.S. congressman, a gubernatorial candidate, and presently the president of the Southern Illinois University System. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Dr. Glenn Bouchard. Doctor.
Good evening, Reverend clergy, ladies and gentlemen. From 1972 to 2002, over 600 steel mills in America shut down, affecting hundreds of thousands of steel workers and their families and devastating local economies. Alton was one of hundreds of communities that experienced this loss when LaClede Steel closed its doors in July 2001. In 2003, a group of local investors attempted to make the plant profitable again, but the many obstacles accumulated over 90 years of steel production could hardly be overcome. Environmental issues, safety, previous unpaid taxes, financing were among many of the issues that had to be resolved. It was a formidable task. But contrary to the way things are being done in Washington today, with its bickering and blaming and bullying and name-calling and division and failure to negotiate and failure to find the middle ground, here a different approach was used to solve the problem. It wasn't about party. It wasn't about politics. It wasn't about power. It was about leadership, a certain kind of leadership. Here's my favorite definition of a leader. The least effective leader is the leader who is feared by the people. A more effective leader is that leader who is loved by the people. But the most effective leader of all is that leader who, when the work is done and the prize is won, the people will say, "We did it ourselves." The early work of Mel and Mike Cook, Charlie Linnemeyer, along with Janine Kelly and other investors, were crucial in the first years of cleanup and operation. And during this time, John Simmons joined the group. In 2006, John became the sole owner of Alton Steel. And John invested heavily and the company to ensure a future plant of modern, technologically driven machinery and a top-notch, experienced workforce. These pioneers of recovering one of America's great industries didn't look at $1 million of environmental cleanup and shake their heads and blame the EPA. They sat down with the EPA and worked out a plan, and workers assisted in voluntarily starting to clean up themselves. They knew an old plant would have safety problems. They didn't try to cut corners and save money at the risk of the welfare of their workers. They sat down with OSHA and they worked out a plan to protect their people. They knew there was a problem with previous unpaid taxes. They sat down with the city and the mayor and worked out a plan to pay them off, and they did. And the city cooperated in every possible way to make this venture a success. Senator Hayne and other area legislators worked together with the state government to clear the path in Springfield, bringing local and state government together. And the steel workers, the most important of all, they not only voluntarily helped clean up an old plant, but union leaders negotiated an unprecedented 5-year contract with the owners to get this business off the ground. Every obstacle that had to be met to preserve hundreds of well-paid jobs for Alton was overcome by people working together. It was about cooperation and contribution, not bickering and blaming. Mr. President, members of Congress, you want to see how America should work, how America can work? Here's my advice. Come to Alton Steel. Come to Alton. The folks here will give you a lesson straight from the classroom of American democracy. Because here, the prize truly has been won. And because of great leadership, the people can say, we did it ourselves. Watch this video. It's one of the most compelling stories of America's greatness. Thank you.
It's just a piece of steel, 6 feet long, 7 by 7 inches, but it was the first. Everyone involved that day in September of 2003 wrote their name on it. They wanted to remember. They wanted to hang on to that moment, September 11th, 2003 at 10 p.m. After 2 long years. An enormous jolt of electrical power jumped through 3 massive electrodes. The first heat for Alton Steel began.
I remember the night it started, we fired the mill up.
It was nearly an impossible thing to be able to do.
It was a lot of hard work at first to get everything going.
Nobody thought that we would ever make it.
It was the first steel made after the LaClede Steel plant went into bankruptcy, and Alton Steel rose from the ashes. For 2 long years, the facility sat idle, while a handful of men and women worked to revive the plant. This is the story of 10 years of operation at Alton Steel, a story of the hopes and dreams of investors, steelworkers, managers, an entire community. Alton Steel, getting it right.
We started it on 9/11. We finished it on 9/12. The fear that you have is the amount of money that it takes that you have to secure before you ever make that first heat. And then you want to make sure that the equipment works. And if you really knew what you were in for, you probably never did.
I remember the night it started, that we fired the mill up. We were just so nervous that things would go right and, that things would go wrong.
They wouldn't even let many people up on the floor because they were afraid of what might happen when they flipped the switch. Because there's a lot of electricity going through all those cables into that furnace.
What we really were able to do is a miracle in itself, because on that first heat, we have 6 strands where the bloom is made. So we had to pour it into this half-egg carton, and it's got holes in the middle of it. And it pours out, and the liquid comes out, and then it forms and goes down and becomes that bloom. And it held all 6 strands the whole time. That's unheard of. That's unheard of. And nothing went wrong. It's just an amazing event.
This plant was down for 2 years. When they ran the first heat, which is a ladle full of steel in that melt shop over there to our right, it went through flawlessly. And that was unheard of. I would have bet against that myself. It was perfect. It went right through.
Well, to be honest with you, my feelings prior to really coming on full time, if you would have asked me to bet on the success of this facility being here 10 years, I would have bet against it, as would most people. A lot of people thought outside of Alton Steel, the industry couldn't figure out why anyone would want to start up a facility that was as old as some of these facilities are here. But with the dedication of the people that we brought on, we were able to work with the United Steelworkers Union and bring back the people that we wanted to bring back.
Lots of people saying we couldn't do it, but I think the core people that were involved in this had faith that it was going to happen.
This is a unique situation, and I like to refer to it as the phoenix rising from the ashes, because nobody expected it to happen. As a matter of fact, when LaClede shut down, I was still at my office cleaning out everything and getting ready to move on in my life, and Mel and Mike Cook walked in and said, "We're here to talk to you about opening the plant up," and no one thought that would happen. I had confidence in it, and the rest was history. We sat down right in my office, a group of us, with the international representative, worked out a first contract. In fact, in my office, I've got a picture hanging on the wall with the first 30 hourly and salaried people that they brought in to start this place off.
One major hurdle to be overcome was environmental cleanup required by the federal government. The management team lured attorney Janine Kelly out of private practice to take on the challenge.
A light bulb went off in my head at one point, and I said, "We're not going to pay LaClede anything for this property. We're going to take whatever we were going to pay LaClede and we'll put it in a trust fund to be used for environmental cleanup." So we got LaClede a release from liability. The government was happy because we took over the site and agreed to clean it up. And we took our own money, put it in a trust, and are able to use that money for cleanup purposes. The creditors were pleased because they got their money, and we were pleased because we came and were able to open the site.
With the workers in place and a plan for environmental cleanup negotiated, the team turned their attention to finding investors to underwrite the startup. After being turned down by banks and institutional investors, they went to see John Simmons, a successful attorney in Alton, whose father had worked at LaClede Steel.
I was raised with, there were 6 boys and girls, and then we raised a cousin also, so there was kind of 7 of us kids. And my dad was in World War II, and after the war, he came to Alton in search of work, found that work at LaClede Steel. So it was LaClede Steel's union job and union insurance that paid for everyone to be born, basically, in my family. So that was kind of neat. My dad worked there 21 years. So I read about the reopening of LaClede Steel in the paper. It had gone bankrupt, and this group of local guys was going to reopen it. So a year went by, or 6 months, or I don't remember the time frame, because I was just out and I wasn't thinking at that time about time, but I just let it go. And as time went on, what I didn't realize was they were trying to find investors for the mill, and they were having no luck.
This was a critical time for Alton Steel because a hard winter was approaching, and the plant needed to be winterized before the cold weather destroyed the infrastructure and made reopening impossible. With banks and institutional investors refusing to invest, the team went to John Simmons.
In the end, what happened was I invested the $500,000, and then I had them issue stock to 8 local churches. And then the churches were the owners, and I was just out of it because it wasn't a deal that I wanted to be in anyway at that rate. So they got the plant winterized, and the churches owned some stock, and everybody was happy. And then round 2 kind of started, where they're still looking for investors, and they couldn't find anybody. And so they came back to me again, the second time, and said, okay, we really want you to be in. And so that is how I became an investor.
Quite frankly, the banks didn't want to lend Alton Steel money. And that's where John Simmons came in and really provided the funding to get this company up and running. And there's been stages throughout the development of the company over the early years where John had to come in on more than one occasion.
There were multiple times when those events came up that we had to go back to John and say, hey, can you give us some more money? And he'd have to confer with his wife, and they agreed to. I was very much aware, and very few people really know the sacrifices that they made and the things that they did that no one even knows about. And that's when I was scared. And I was scared multiple times that paycheck wasn't going to come for these guys. And each and every time we needed it, for whatever reason, they came through.
Looking back on the move and what we did, my wife and I, it was just insane, But on the other hand, 10 years has brought, I don't know how many, 320 jobs now that we have, but we've ramped up to where we had as many as 460, 480 at one point. And, the lives that we've touched, and we've had a few guys retire on us, with us. So that's kind of neat, and I just am proud of it and happy about it.
These 5 steel workers worked at LaClede and then came back to help resurrect Alton Steel. Their combination of pride and grit represents the spirit of the company for the last 10 years.
There is for me.
Yeah, there's a sense of pride.
I'm a strong believer in American made, so there's some pride for me, for sure.
I mean, it's still hard to remember or to even imagine that it's happening. Because I remember something when we first opened up, we were the only steel mill that had ever filed bankruptcy and opened back up. It didn't happen in those days. This is a minor, maybe a major miracle you're looking at right down here. It just doesn't happen. And I don't think it's happening today anyplace else either. So
steel's pretty strong as far as the American market goes, but small operations like Alton Steel, and all over a small operation, we're more than just a final finishing mill. We run an electric melt shop, we run a major bar mill, and that kind of operation we have going now. So that's what's unusual about it. For something this small to make it, that is unusual, and really that's what made the American marketplace in the first place, small places.
I think you get more pride because we've been through the shutdown and you're coming back. You got pride that you want this place to make it, and you're going to do what you can to get it going.
Yeah, you feel pride, like I said earlier. You were one of the ones that, especially the old timers like ourselves, you were here when this place started. You had something to do with it being born and created the way it is.
There's also pride in the community about the resurrection and success of Alton Steel.
When LaClede failed, it was a definite negative for the community. There were lots of people out of work. There were lots of companies that did business, within those walls that no longer had that business. So when Alton Steel came along, it really uplifted the community, uplifted the businesses that reside here. They're committed to this area because they're from here. They want to see it go. They want to see it succeed.
Well, I think most of us were very hopeful, but I think most of us were very skeptical whether they could pull it off or not. And obviously they did, and they did a tremendous job. I didn't know the players personally, like Mr. Cook, who was instrumental in reviving the mill. And then when John Simmons got involved, that certainly
was a turn of events, and I had probably a lot more credibility to the project at that time. And it's just worked out. It's just been wonderful for the community.
Alton Steel has not just survived. Alton Steel has thrived. As a manufacturer of high-quality, low-cost steel, Alton Steel is centrally located in relation to the major steel-consuming areas of America. Most are within a one-day drive. Utility rates around Alton are among the lowest in the country, and the company is relentlessly focused on customer service and quality. Alton Steel produces high-quality rounds, squares, billets, and slabs in the heartland of America, and employs a dedicated workforce which averages 20 years of experience in the steel industry. Flexible and frequent rollings offer quick response and better inventory control to customers. The men and women of Alton Steel operate the 225-ton electric arc furnaces and a ladle furnace with precise chemical and temperature control capability. The 14-inch Moeller-Newman rolling mill features hydraulic pre-stressed roll housings for precise control. When asked to describe Alton Steel in a word or phrase in a recent survey, customers used these words: excellent, easy to work with, good company with good people, reliable, high quality, high integrity, competitive, a good mill. They do it right.
Our first customer was here to watch that. They were all excited as well. We took their first order, our first order, their order, put it on a truck and shipped it out right away. So it was a huge success. There really aren't too many stories, if any stories, like Alton Steel in the steel industry. We're an independent steel mill. We have been for all these 10 years, and we've been a success bringing back a facility from the dust, basically, to the success that we've had, and we have been very successful.
Today, Alton Steel can be found in motorcycles, automobiles, buildings, consumer products, hand tools, construction machines. In fact, Alton Steel is found in models of all three of America's largest domestic automobile manufacturers. There is a phrase that sums up the miracle, the resurrection of Alton Steel: getting it right.
Getting it right means in 10 years you can look back with pride at what you've accomplished.
Getting it right means when this steel comes in here and it actually leaves the LMF, means it's on time, it's on temp.
Getting it right means satisfying our customers.
Getting it right means producing a quality product for our customers, our people going home at the end of the day safe with no injuries.
Getting it right to me means we follow all the procedures, we get everything done, we get everything made in specification.
Getting it right.
Getting it right means everybody working together and having a high level of cooperation to meet our customer needs.
We're getting it right.
Getting it right.
We're going to continually move forward and get it right as we move forward.
Alton Steel, we're getting it right.
Getting it right means working together as a team.
This is the way America should be again. We should have our local people doing this work, the profit staying in our country.
Alton Steel is getting it right.
Getting it right means working together and getting it accomplished.
Now this is the way it's supposed to be in America.
Getting it right.
Perhaps there's something in the air in and around Alton, Illinois. Some special energy brought together by three rivers. Giants walked here, where eagles still dance in the sky. Lewis and Clark, Lincoln and Douglas, the Underground Railroad, Miles Davis, pioneers, visionaries, workers, builders, dreamers. You put together the right ingredients, the right chemistry, and what you get is a town where people can be born and live and learn and work and play and die in peace. When you get it right, what you get are 1,000 stories about what it means to be an American. What you get is Alton, Illinois. It's the same with steel. You put together the right ingredients, the right chemistry, the art and the science, the steel workers who stand among the flames, the finances, the salesmen and women, the truck drivers and train engineers. And what you get is a metal that can form the backbone of a building, the frame of a car, the building blocks of America. What you get is steel. When you get it right, what you get are 1,000 different ways to use this magical material that has been with man in the form of swords and shields and machines and buildings and cars and tools for hundreds, even thousands of years. This is a story about getting it right. A town, Alton, Illinois. A company, Alton Steel. They are what America was and what America can be again.
Ladies and gentlemen, if there was ever a team of business and management and labor that represented a great city better than this team, I don't know where it is in America. Guys, come on up, all the people that were involved in this video and the leadership team, come on out on the stage. Let's give them a great hand, a standing ovation for what they've done to help our city and our state and our nation.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for coming tonight. Party is just beginning. This is one of the miracles in the United States, and Alton, Illinois is the center of that miracle. Coming up next, the Oak Ridge Boys.
Hey, boys.
It's the time I have looked in the water and had no reflection to show. Oh, and many's the time I have stood at the crossroads, not knowing which way to go. Many's the time someone lay close beside me. I don't remember her name. They'll say that I'm just a smile at the moment that was before you came. You're the one in a million. You're the one. You're the one. You're the one in a million. I see. You're the one in a million. You're the one. You're the one. You're the one in a million for me. places to go to when I had nowhere to sleep.
I never made any promises to them.
You're the one in a million. You're the one. You're the one. You're the one in a million. I see. You're the one in a million. You're the one. You're the one. You're the one in a million for me. One in a million. You're the one. You're the one. You're the one in a million. I see. You're the one in a million. You're the one. You're the one. You're the one in a million for me. You're the one in a million for me.
So much, everybody. We are the Oak Ridge Boys. It's an honor to sing to you folks tonight in Alton, Illinois. Nice to be here for Alton Steel, one of the great American companies, and last time we worked for these fine folks was 10 years ago. If they're going to be booking us every 10 years, I don't know if we can guarantee the next one. I don't know how many of you know it or not, but the four of us are celebrating 40 years of singing together this year. So we're quite an American company too. From the time we got here today, it was requested of the Oak Ridge Boys that we would add some gospel music to our show tonight. Well, that's not hard for us to do because we do some gospel every night. Our roots and heritage are in Southern style gospel quartet music. And another thing we heard from the time we arrived today and our people got here was of the untimely death of Tammy Courtney. Big Oak Ridge Boy fan and really wanted to be here for the show tonight, and because she passed on Saturday. And we were asked if we would do a song in her honor tonight. Well, boys, we're changing the set just a little bit, and Ronnie, give us a Life's Railway key, and we'll sing this one for Courtney. Tammy. And I'll bet she hears it. Life's Railway. We're going to try to sing a cappella in the cold.
Life is like a mountain railroad with an engineer that's brave. We must make the run successful from the cradle to the grave. Watch the curves, the hills, the tunnels, never falter, never fail. Keep your hand upon the throttle and your eye upon the rail. Blessed Savior, thou wilt guide us till we reach that blissful shore where the angels wait to join us in thy praise forevermore, forevermore. As you roll across the trestle, spanning Jordan's swelling tide, you'll behold the Union Depot into which your train will glide. There you'll meet the superintendent, God the Father, God the Son, with extended hands he'll greet you. Weary pilgrim, welcome home. Blessed Savior, thou wilt guide us till we reach that blissful shore where the wait to join us in thy praise forevermore, There's a storm across the valley, clouds are rolling in. The afternoon is heavy on your shoulder. There's a truck out on the 4-lane, a mile or more away. It's the whining of his wheels that makes it colder. He's an hour away from right on your prayers have been the sky. 10 days on the road are barely gone. There's a fire softly burning, supper's on the stove. It's the light in your eyes that makes it warm. Can't you feel it in your bones? Change is coming on from every walk of life. People seeing the light. And can't you feel it in your heart now? A new thing is taking shape. Reach out and touch a hand and make a friend if you can. Reach out and touch a hand. Make a friend if you can. Reach out and touch a hand. Make a friend if you can. Run it. I've read about you, my friend, anytime that you come on in. Now we can find a better way. Why don't you join us today? Now can't you feel it in your heart now? A new thing is taking shape. Reach out and touch a hand and make a friend if you can. Reach out and touch a hand and make a friend if you can. Reach out and touch a hand and make a friend if you can. Whoa.
It's been an honor to songs to sing, but I want to tell you, I was kind of thinking about our cruise we're taking in February to the Caribbean. How nice that's going to be, 7 days in the islands. You may want to consider going with us. Go to oakridgeboys.com, click on tour information, or stop by Mikey's table over there and pick up a free brochure. It's a real big tour. It's going to be fun. Singing, eating, snorkeling, laying in the sun for 7 days. And it's not one of them carnival deals either. We're planning on coming back. Follow us on Twitter at Oak Ridge Boys. Look up our Facebook page. Follow our website at oakridgeboys.com. You folks have been great tonight. Let's say a virus! Everybody say it's tradition.
Yeah. society.